What's going on, guys? I'm Zachary Gray, and today we're going to be out here looking for the Louisiana milk snake. Now, this is a really special animal here in South Louisiana. They're honestly one of our rarer snake species, and to me, they're an important part of our heritage, especially in this area. Let's go. Today, we're taking a closer look at the behaviors, regions, and overall natural history of the Louisiana milk snake. And along the way, we're going to see some of the other snakes that call these wetlands home. To find a Louisiana milk snake, you first have to be in the right habitat. And here in South Louisiana, that's going to be hardwood biomes and cypress swamps.
Got a rat snake. Have a look at that.
Woohoo! Have a look at that snake. Whoop. It's okay. Wow, that's a pretty one. Little Texas rat snake. He was just coming out the sun right outside this little bit of bark. They'd be living up on these trees during the winter time. These snakes get really high up in the trees sometimes, and that's typically where they're going to be spending the winter. Another reason that these logs are so important here, as well as the bark on them, they're used to sun a little bit while staying hidden. Now this one, probably about a 3.5 foot snake. That is a really cool snake. The Texas rat snakes out here actually have red tongues. See that there? Got a light orange coloration. It's a really cool snake. They are one of the more common species. Another nickname for these are the chicken snake. They're non-venomous, perfectly safe. What's really cool about how rat snakes climb is they have square belly scales. They're able to scale straight up these trees, get up in little cracks, crevices, hunt birds, birds' eggs, rats, mice, pretty much anything they can get a hold of. When they're little, they're going to be mostly eating lizards, but when they're about this size, mostly rodents and birds. They really love birds' eggs especially. They'll crawl up into here and get duck eggs and woodpecker eggs, all kinds of stuff. But definitely not what we're looking for, but it is a staple animal of South Louisiana, and one that I've grown up catching quite a bit. They are still one of my favorite snakes to find. They will bite sometimes, but like I said, non-venomous, perfectly safe, and just a really cool animal. We're gonna go ahead and put this one back and keep looking for more. All right, see you, little buddy. Watch him as he gets back in his bark there. Come on. Oh, there he goes. He's got it. That's awesome. A nice first snake, but definitely not what we're looking for. And there's no way we're going to see a milk snake out in the open like that. They're a much more reclusive species. Recently, these snakes were clumped together with all the other western milk snake species as being the exact same thing. And I couldn't disagree more. These snakes have a totally different look and lifestyle to the snakes out west, such as the pale and New Mexico milks. They're built to live in the swamps, surviving high waters and cypress and oak trees, and feeding mostly on anole lizards and skinks. Louisiana milk snakes are a weird snake, but they are a part of kind of my heritage here in South Louisiana. They're a snake that really does mean a lot to me. I remember finding my first ones with my dad when I was younger in these really gorgeous habitats. Obviously, we want to upkeep Louisiana's swamps, cypress swamps, and these oak plantations. Obviously, as we do that more, Louisiana milk snakes will be abundant. Once living across the entire region west of the Mississippi River, now these snakes live in small, separated populations due to human expansion, and each locality is now very distinct. Since these snakes have been hunted for close to 80 years in the state for personal collectors and the pet trade, their numbers have decreased drastically. Some of the areas these snakes once flourished have now close to none, and our local preserves have tried really hard to stop this. Have a look at this. This might just look like regular pieces of wood, but this is actually the remnants of what used to be a large, probably water oak log. Now these logs are very important for the milk snakes here in South Louisiana, because this is what they're going to be living in. This is what they'll be hunting and living in and under. And this one was shattered most likely while somebody was looking for milk snakes. Now what this does is it forces them out of their habitat, and it makes it much harder for these animals to survive. More people find them, a lot of collectors come and get them from here, and just none of them are being put back into the wild. And we have no idea how their populations are doing because of that. Deforestation already wipes out tons of species, but when the little bit of forest that's left gets destroyed, and the logs that these snakes live in get destroyed, it's really hard to know how they're doing and preserve them. And since no breeding programs have been pursued, their numbers continue to decline, and this rare snake becomes even harder to find and study. Luckily, I've been observing them for years.
Oh my, come see this!
Yes!
Very fragile little snake. Look at that! That! Whoa, whoa, whoa. Quit swinging, buddy.
And I get a chance to share what I've learned with other biologists. So hopefully in the future we can protect these habitats with these snakes and get good captive breeding programs rolling so we can see them back in their historic ranges. Alright Kevin, so what's special about Louisiana milk snakes? What do you want to see one for?
Just because it's a milk snake in a different habitat and location than the one I've seen before. I've seen them up in Missouri a lot and one in Iowa. This is kind of just a beautiful, unique snake that in a beautiful, unique habitat down here in southern Louisiana.
Justin, why do you want milk snakes? Why are they cool?
Oh man, they're obviously beautiful, you know, that oversaturated color, they almost look fake, which is awesome. It's also just cool to know that, you know, where milk snakes are, there's really good habitat. I don't know.
They're just epic.
Exactly.
They're just epic.
That's the word.
He's got the Snake Life shirt on. Y'all heard it here first. You got this.
Use the ridge as a camouflage.
You got him.
Do you got him? Oh, there we go. Evan, the professional. Evan, what kind of frog is that?
This is a bronze frog.
Scientific name?
The Beatty's clamitans,
Yo,
or
I
Rana
didn't even know that. Brilliant.
Used to be considered a subspecies of the green frog, and now they've all been lumped as one species. But down here in Louisiana, they're pretty much all brown like this.
Evan, what is under the stack of tin?
I'm gonna say there's milk under this
There's
one.
milk under it? All right. That's a weird looking milk, Evan.
Yeah.
That's a weird looking milk, Evan.
There's gonna be one under here.
Evan,
All right.
Evan, that's the most transparent milk I've ever seen in my life.
I think it got away.
You're right.
Myself.
The most effective way to study Louisiana milk snakes in new areas is typically going to be with artificial cover. It takes dozens and dozens of sets of good cover before even a single milk snake can be found. Kevin, you're up. Kevin. Let's go. Let's go, Kevin.
Evan's supposed to be a lucky one.
Nah, Kevin.
I've seen it before.
Kevin.
I'm a believer.
Kevin, where did you put my snake, bro?
My pocket. It's out of hand. Look over here and then whoop, take my hand.
It's also a really good way to see some of the other species living alongside them.
Now milk snakes actually aren't the only snakes out here. Have a look at this. Woo! Those are ringnecks. These are southern ringnecks. There's a lot of them here. And this is actually something that Louisiana milk snakes would be feeding on, but they also are a very common snake across their range. You can see them in multitudes of habitats, but I've noticed that they are in large numbers in areas where milk snakes live oftentimes. Different size ones here. This is a pretty big one. You got more of an average size one here. Don't go anywhere. Let me just grab them all here. They're getting away from me. Y'all are chill. Y'all can stay there. Have a look at that. Beautiful orange bellies. That's actually to warn things to stay away from. They secrete a really nasty musk, and they probably don't taste too well. So nice little showing of aposematic coloration similar to milk snakes. Really cool species. Definitely not what we're looking for, but beautiful snakes in beautiful habitat. And it just goes to show you there are a lot of different indicator species. Even if they are common, you want to see a healthy ecosystem and you want to see lots of different life other than just the rare stuff. Everything is very interconnected, and they all thrive because they're each there. All right, I'm gonna put this back. Y'all did good just sitting there. I'm gonna place this gently on top. Wow, that's pretty cool. Time to go see a milk.
After a good bit of searching by the group, Kevin actually ended up being the man to find our milk for the day. Good job, Kevin.
Woohoo! Have a look at this, guys. That is a little Louisiana milk snake. That is a stunning snake, for sure. I mean, it stands out, but you're almost never gonna see them out in the open like this. Sometimes they'll come out onto the road at night. Sometimes they're visible because they are a nocturnal species. This is a little one. This is probably maybe a really, really well-grown yearling, but I would say more likely 2 years old. Now you can see why this is such a sought-after snake. Beautiful red banding, just awesome colors, and not in habitat you would typically expect milk snakes to be in. I mean, you can see this is a big cypress tree, and this is what they're living around. Cypress swamps, oak mangroves, these really wetland areas here in South Louisiana. They're pretty typical mannered compared to other king snakes. I mean, sometimes they'll be bitey, sometimes they'll be perfectly chill. I've found that Louisiana milk snakes oftentimes are gonna be pretty hyper. They're not gonna wanna sit down, they're gonna musk on you a lot. But this one, pretty chill actually. once you start seeing more of them, you start noticing similar looks in similar areas. And this locality of Louisiana milk snake almost always has a black head. See that right there, solid black head. Some of them will get red speckling on their head. I would say the ones a little bit west of here, probably the prettiest Louisiana milk snakes, really anywhere. But these are the ones that I actually grew up seeing, are the ones with the solid black heads. And it's really just a nostalgic look to me. And it's really just a special experience. It's a beautiful animal, and one that I hope a lot more people get to see in Louisiana. So keeping these habitats around the cypress swamps and these oak mangrove areas preserved, where we can still see them, is very important. But awesome, awesome animal, really cool. I know we've gotten to show you guys Louisiana milk snakes before, but always just a special, special experience. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, consider subscribing and go out and check out some of our other videos, and we will see you guys next time. That was an awesome animal.